Hey everyone, welcome to the PGA here on DKTV. What? Look at this beautiful studio that we're in. That's right, we're hitting it wild here for you. Joining me, DK writer Jamie Hinks and our friend Edo Delamonte. We're talking golf. Gentlemen, we're away. We liking the new studio, liking the new looks?
Lovely.
It's amazing.
Absolutely
It makes us
lovely.
all look very, very awesome. Let's talk golf. All right, last weekend, the bridesmaid finally got married again. Sergio Garcia. Oh, the Byron Nelson. Did anyone watch it? Anyone really? Did you watch it all, Jamie?
No, it was FA Cup final, and I was dead for the whole of Sunday.
Who won that? Because my team was playing yours. I can't remember that one. Yeah.
Still sore.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were a United fan. Oh,
Of course I am.
oh
Well, we'll
dear.
talk golf. We'll get into that. So we had Sergio Garcia, who's always seems to be having problems, right? He's always either chasing or he's got a lead and then he blows it. But this week, Brooks Koepka blows it, bogeys it. Sergio's able to take the lead and win.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I always like to pick Sergio. I get a lot of criticism for this from certain people, but I always like to pick Sergio. He always does well for me when I pick him. So
Yeah.
good on him.
Yeah, well, good.
Good on
You didn't
Sergio.
pick him, so obviously
No,
something went wrong with that equation.
Yeah.
He's now tied Ballesteros as the leading Spaniard winner of all time, so that's pretty good. That's something he can put in his cap and take to the models of Florida. This weekend, another big, the other guys we also had in there, Brooks Koepka, Kuchar was doing well, Howell, and Colton Osk and Justin Hicks, a few other guys like that.
Hinksy.
Hinksy.
Yeah.
So this weekend, though, very exciting tournament. It's the Dean Deluca Invitational. Do you know what Dean Deluca is? Do you guys know?
I think, isn't it food or
It's a high-end
restaurants?
grocery store.
Is that,
Yeah.
so it's like
Really
a Whole
nice.
Foods.
It's like a Whole Foods,
Yeah.
but you're invited now. It used to be like this thing has changed its name more time than Katie Price. This thing used to be the Colonial. It was the Crown
Plaza.
Victoria, Crown Plaza.
Yeah.
It was the Hires root beer. I don't know. It's been like everything all over the place. But it's an old Dallas course, and Dallas this year has been having really horrible weather. I mean, all the Texas tournaments seem to have been rainy. It was really rainy last year. Chris Kirk, not Captain Kirk, won it last year. It's a Colonial Country Club, 7,240 yards, par 70. 120 players have been invited. They have this weird system of how they invite everyone. Edo,
Yeah.
do you know anything about this tournament you want to talk to us about?
Well, there's some good news in the 125 players maximum, I believe, and yeah, it will be easier for our players to make the cut, which is always a good start. And yeah, the course is an interesting one because a lot of the par fours are gettable, so birdie opportunities there. There's 4 par threes, and 3 of them are actually 190 to 200 approaches, so that will also be important. So once again, the bombers aren't so important. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, last year of the 17 biggest hitters, only one of them was top 20. So the Nosts, the Jerry Kellys, Chris Kirk, obviously last year,
Yeah.
they're all good calls.
It's green. It's hitting the greens, keeping it tight.
Yeah.
Not the big hitters. Your guys who are driving are not going to have as good of a day. And there's some water on the course as well that you
Yeah.
got to watch for.
There's a lot of fairway bunkers as well,
Yeah.
and I think accuracy is going to be a big thing here. I don't like as Edo said, the bombers are just they're gonna bomb.
Yeah. It's one of those things, though, to one of these kind of courses that if you do lose your momentum, it is one of those things that if you start making mistakes, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Like you will fall behind early, and there's a lot of good players in it. So, of course, DraftKings, what do you do when it comes to playing golf when you've missed it? But here's what you're going to do. You're going to choose 6 players, 50 grand. You got to use your budget to figure out which players you want. Who's going to win? Who's on your list this weekend? I'm going to ask these guys. Who are your 6 guys? Let's start with you, Edo, Mr. Papers. Who we got? Who we got your first guy down?
I'm very much struggling with my papers. Hopefully not
That's
so much
okay.
with the picks. Rory is absent this week, so I'm going to go Rory Academy and pick Patrick Reed
All right.
for 10 grand. Just like Sergio, he's been floating around that win without actually getting it this year, and he's been really solid, and he doesn't miss that many cuts. I will like him as well just because he didn't do well at the Players, he was cut there. So I'm hoping that people will be a little bit off him, he'll be a contrarian pick. And yeah, he's made 2 cuts here already, he's done really well, really good scrambler, by the way. When we're talking about scrambling, sand scrambling is going to be key as well, and a lot of approach play. So I think that he's really good, and at that kind of price, he's always floating behind the top tier guys, just beneath. And I think that that's really good value.
Good pick, $10,000. Jamie, who is on your first on your list?
I've gone Zach Johnson at 10,700.
Ooh.
I think from looking at the stats and looking at the past form here, he's the player to pick. I'm worried that everyone is going to pick him.
Yeah.
But he won here in 2012 and 2010. He's had top 20s all over the place in this event. He's not been amazing this season, but he hasn't missed a cut since the Masters. So 10,700 is a lot, but if Rory was there, I probably would have picked him, but he's not. So I'm going to have to go for Zach Johnson.
You're mentioning that with a lot of the players, because there are quite a few guys within that 10,000 range this week.
There is a lot.
Choosing the ones that's going, oh my God, who is going to do well? You know, because you could choose one of these guys and then they just sort of bomb out. You know, the Spieths and guys like that, because Spieth fell apart last week. Which I chose, by the way. I did choose that. I did pick that one. Which is why, for my first pick, you know, I like to choose some good picks. I'm going to choose something I know is really good. I'm going to choose a guy who's like won the last 2 of his 3 starts. I'm talking Matt Kuchar. I'm talking a guy who's playing really well. Matt Kuchar is $11,000. He's a runner-up in 2013. I love the Cooch. I'm going to get me some Cooch. Cooch, you're on my list, Cooch. All right, Jamie, let's go to your second pick. Who do you got on your list?
George McNeil, 6,600.
Whoa! Was he the caddy, or is he working the hot dog stand or something?
He always does me well, this guy. The first time I picked him, I was like, oh, cool, I found a guy under the radar. He was like 4,500 or something. No, he wasn't that cheap, but 5,000 something. And even though this isn't Florida, which he loves playing in Florida, he's done quite well here in recent years. And you know what? I need the money elsewhere, and there's no one better than him at that price.
Yeah, that's very cheap. That's a good value at 6,000. George Michael or George Mitchell? George Mitchell, right?
George Mitchell.
Yeah. Either or. You know what? They're both cheap, and who knows how they both do in the tournament. Edo, second pick. Who do you got?
We're going back to the Chapel and we're going to get married. Kevin Chappell, 9,600. Wow. Love Kevin Chappell. He's a tee to green machine. Really good at eagles. Really good at scrambling. Last 6 starts, 4 top 10s. That has potential winner all over it, and his play kind of fits the course. 9,600, I love it. 9,600,
not a bad value, not a bad value right there. Myself, I go for names of Texas. I go for a guy who sounds like Texas. Colt Knost. Come on. Does that not sound like a Texas name? Colt Knost, he's 8,300. He's made 16 of the past 17 cuts. 2 top 10s this season. The guy's flirting. He's all over the leaderboard. He's all over the place like a dirty short. I think Colt Knost, you're on my list. Do well this weekend. I'm watching you. All right, Edo, third pick. Who we got? We're running out of money. You're running down on it.
Yeah, I'm running out of money, and I hopefully won't run out of luck, because this guy here, he'll make a cut. He won't make a cut. Brant Snedeker.
Because he's been playing.
Yeah, 8,900, and he came second here last year. Again, play fits the course. What I really like as well is that he's already got 5 top 10s this year. So when he hits good. So it's a really good tournament play, in my opinion. And people will be very angry at him for what he's done recently, because if he doesn't do well, he's a complete disaster. Yeah. And 8,900, this kind of like limited. So we said that the players, you know, the quality is pretty good, but it's not amazing. So he's not going to disappear. And I think at 8,900, he's really good value.
And you know, interesting enough, Brant Snedeker, he has 27 N's in his name. I don't know if you've counted them. It's a lot of them. They're all hidden N's. It's the worst jersey, jersey ever. All right, Brant Snedeker. Jamie, third pick. Who you got? Impress me.
Right, I've gone Chris Kirk, 9,700. Of course, he won it last year. And he was an absolute demon with the putter last year, which I was looking through the past winners, and he didn't really fit the bill of a past winner of this tournament, but he knows the course well. He's been top 23 out of the last 4 years, and he's been very good recently. I don't think he's that expensive at 9,700. I don't think that many people will pick him because he won it last year, which is, it's the one, like, people don't repeat that much. So yeah, Chris Kirk.
That is pretty bold, going back-to-back ones like that, because you're right. And it's this season. There's hardly been anyone who's repeated anything. It's all top.
I think it was Scott and Day, and they were the only 2.
And other than that, it's all these names that you're seeing sort of flirting in the top 10. Yep. I'm choosing a name who doesn't really float in the top 10. You've seen him up and down, but he's someone I really like. I'm talking Kyle Reifers. Oh yeah, Kyle Reifers. He's $7,000. He's made the past 15 of 21 cuts, 3 top 10s this season. Man, Kyle Reifers, you're on my list. Well, McLeod, don't do badly. I don't even know what that means, by the way.
I do.
Do you? You're good with languages. You're a polylinguist.
The language guy.
You're really a French tonguey guy. All right, so Kyle Reifers, you're on my list. Edo.
The love of,
Who's your fourth list on your guy?
So from Bumberklads to Bloodklads. No, Smiley Kaufman, 7,600.
Oh, Smiley. He's not been smiling so much
No,
this year.
2 straight cuts. So again, contrarian, but I'm picking him for having a good year, and I think he'll bounce back. Young player, LSU grad, so I think that maybe the inexperience will lead to players of his age eventually dropping off. This is the kind of tournament he can win. And I really love that price. I saw that, I have to leap onto that. 7,600. And I mean, when you look at his pre-Zurich form, he's a T29 at the Masters, T12 at Arnold Palmer, so he can play with the big boys. He's not afraid. And I think he's got really good play. He does have one weakness, which is his driving accuracy. But this is the kind of course where you can recover. And, 55% greens is still good enough, which is quite, 55% fairways is good enough. And he can scramble really well. So I love him.
And interesting enough, if Smiley loses, he has to change his name.
Yeah, he does, yeah.
He does, because there's nothing to smile about. He's like Smirky Kaufman, or like Grumbly Kaufman. Something like Morose Kaufman, that's right.
Morose.
Wow. Sounds like a stripper you see in the daytime. Your fourth pick, who do you have, Jamie?
David Toms, 6,300.
Whoa, you're really going value,
I'm
man.
going
I
bargain
can't wait for
basement
these big
today,
numbers coming
right?
up.
I'm trying to look for the value. Whether it works, I have no idea. But he's won here before. He's placed well a couple of years ago. I think if you pick people that have done well on this course before, you'll do well. And he was also unlucky to miss the cut last week, considering he hit like 2 under par, I think it was, and he still didn't make the cut. He was tied 13th at the Valero Texas Open in the same state, so he knows the courses in this state, and he's very, very cheap.
He's very cheap, and you better hope that he makes a cut, because if you don't make the cuts in DraftKings, if you don't make it going into the Sunday, it's really hard. It's really hard to win and beat your friends and taunt them in their faces, which is what I do. Now I'm going to go with my my fourth pick, and I'm Canadian, so I have to choose someone from Canada. Just like our Prime Minister likes to elbow the boobs of other politicians. Watch the news, you'll see it. Yeah. I'm choosing Adam Hadwin. Adam Hadwin, yeah, who is that Hadwin?
No,
6,600. This guy's actually been playing quite accurate this year. He's made 13 out of 18 cuts, 1 top 10. He's one of those guys that hits the greens in regulation. He's always quite accurate. He's not a big driver. He's a good Canadian guy right there. Adam Hadwin, on my list. All right, now we're starting to run out of money. I'm interested in you because you've been going really cheap. And so there's got to be some...
I blew all my money earlier.
Oh, you blew your wad on all the... well, you blew some of it, but then what do you got left? Who you got your fifth pick?
Jerry Kelly, 7,200.
Yes.
He's number 2 for scrambling, but annoyingly, I got him mixed up with Kenny Perry, who's won it twice.
Katy Perry or Kenny Perry?
No,
oh,
Kenny
Perry. Okay,
They're
yes.
Very similar names.
Yes.
He won here twice, and one of my stats about him was going to be, Jerry Kelly's done really well here in the past. But he is number 2 for scrambling, which I'm happy with. And he's quite a 7,200 is kind of mid-range, so.
Sounds like a good drinking buddy too.
He's got great driving accuracy too. He's always up there.
There you go.
Like, he's really good.
All right, Edo, who you got for your fifth pick?
Someone who doesn't have good driving accuracy, unlike Jerry Kelly and Colt and Kirk and Hideki. No, Harris English, 7,300. Harris English, you either want to compliment him or strangle him because it's very up and down. Mm-hmm. But I'm expecting something from this guy. We've been doing it all year. He was quite a sexy pick about 3 months ago, and then he started sort of getting cut. And then he started getting back into it. So last time, for example, at the Byron Nelson, he tied for 49, went 5 under, which I thought was quite reasonable. I think he could be playing himself into some form. And at that kind of price, he is very boom or bust. And I'm hoping it's going to be a boom.
Always good for hoping, because sometimes when you're running out of money, you're hoping on people. And I'm throwing a little hope in the air for a guy named Bryce Mulder. That's right. Sounds like something you get underneath your sink, but no, Bryce Mulder, 7,100. It sounds like something on the X-Files too. He's got 4 top 10s and 11 out of 18 cuts that he's made. The guy, you'll see his name flirting in the top 20, and that's what I'm looking for, 7,100. Flirt me into the top 20. Bryce Mulder, don't let me down, baby. Okay, 6th pick, final pick. How did you use your strategy, Jamie?
Jason Duffner, 8,000.
Oh, the Duffer.
Duff man. He's been second here twice, so he's always the bridesmaid, never the
pregnant
bride.
girl.
Yeah,
it's Texas.
He's had 13 out of 16 cuts this year, 3 top 10s. He's placed nicely last week. And 8,400 I don't think is too pricey for him. And I'm just looking at guys that are going to make the cut and possibly hit a few birdies, and I think Duffner's that guy.
All right, and 6th pick for you, Edo. Taking us down, Dean and DeLuca.
Not just a golfer, a state of mind. Johnny, Vegas,
oh,
6,900.
Vegas, baby.
Yeah, Vegas. The price is still too low for a man who is really stringing together results. And as I said last week and the week before, he's been doing it for 2-3 seasons now. We should stop acting surprised when our boy Johnny does really well. 5th at Zurich, which wasn't too dissimilar, did reasonably at Wells Fargo. And yeah, he's got a really good all-round game. He's the kind of player who fits into that, well, he's actually accurate and he can also hit really hard. and he can sort of, react when things go wrong. So Johnny Vegas at 6,900, I mean, I'm not even doubting it. Even if he doesn't make the cut, at 6,900, it's a ticket worth buying. So yeah.
All right, we're doing it. He's a big driver though too, so this guy as well.
Absolutely.
So it could be something interesting to see how he plays on those par threes. My strategy, and people are always asking, Wade, how do you do so well? What is your strategy? How do you get to your 6th pick? What is it? What do you rub in tea bags or something? I do that on Friday nights, but I go with whatever money I have left. And the money I had left was 10 grand. Woohoo! Who did I buy for 10 grand? Patty Reed. That's right. Because I wanted someone who balanced Kyle Reefers in the marijuana references. No, Patrick Reed. Amazing. Guy's got a good player. He's always on the list. He's in the top 10s. I mean, I could go on and wax on. You've already mentioned him. But Patty Reed, on my list. So what does the list look like? What does your list look like? How do you do this? DraftKings has loads of great tournaments this weekend. All you have to do is go into DraftKings.co.uk, download the app, look around through the lobby, see the different games that we have on offer. Choose one that feels right for you. Let's take a look at the selections we've had. Edo, let's take a look at your list first. That's right, we've got Chappell, English, Kaufman, Reed, Snedeker, 27 ends in that, and Jonathan Vegas. Now we're moving on to Jamie's. Johnson, McNeil, Kirk, Toms, Kelly, and Duffner.
Oh, yeah.
And then Wade, Kuchar, Nost, Reefers, Hadwin, Mulder, Reed. That's right. That's the winning lineup. We're right there. How do you make your winning lineup? Go to DraftKings.co.uk. You could win big. Welcome to the big time.